No Joel Embiid, no Tobias Harris, no De'Anthony Melton. No win for the Sixers. This was a tough one as we welcome you here to Sixers Postgame Live, brought to you by Auto Insurance, Amy Fadul, Mark Jackson. And we knew they were going to be down about 65 points on average. But a 1-point lead at halftime ballooned to 8 points for the Jazz, obviously after the third, and then it really went sideways in the fourth quarter. Where did this one really go wrong for you?
You know, it went wrong in multiple different places, but with that being said, I think the Jazz played tremendous team basketball. I thought they schemed defensively on Tyrese Maxey, was on point, and he struggled. Even though he had 25 points, he just didn't shoot pretty good from field goals. Yeah,
you're looking at 1 for 8 from 3 for Tyrese Maxey. 9 of 24, that's 37.5%. They were not a good shooting team, three-point, and that's all that the Jazz were giving them, and they just couldn't convert. They turned the Jazz over. The Sixers turned the Jazz over 18 times. That's the most turnovers they forced this season, but it could not result in anything really resembling close to even hanging with this team. Tyrese Maxey defensively was shown a lot of different things. We saw this with the Bulls game in Chicago where they created a wall. This one was even like further out. He really had no way to get inside the paint where he's usually doing most of his work, Mark.
And how you counter that? You counter that by your team shooting a good percentage from three, but tonight the Sixers was 7 for 38. Which means I'm Utah, I'm like, collapse even more. Make him see even more defense. Instead of 2, let's give him 3 because they're not hitting open shot. Scorers need shooters and shooters need scorers. If both of them not on the same page, it's going to be a very long night for both of them.
You saw Markkanen and Chris Dunn both showing that kind of front right there. And they would just flash. And sometimes, obviously, too, you would see a little bit of like almost like a third defender at least kind of like sway that way to kind of give him just a little extra. And he had no choice. Then he kicks it out and hopefully you can bury 3. But when you're only shooting 18%, none of those went in, and that results in the 120-109 loss.
Exactly. Unfortunately for the 76ers, not having multiple guys in to be the contribute starters on that too. Maxey tried to carry it. Oubre gave us a lot, but unfortunately just wasn't enough.
Yeah, Oubre, he had 13 points in the third quarter alone. Yeah. But when you only score 22 points in the quarter, you're only down 1, and then that ballooned to 8 points because of that. That third quarter really is where things started to kind of really leak oil for the Sixers, and in the fourth quarter, it was pretty much over by the time we hit the halfway mark.
And you know what's interesting? In the past, Sixers have struggled in the third quarter. Yeah. This year, they seem to be very good in the third quarter, but tonight it didn't happen. And, you know, teams really start that. It's how you start that second half that can lead into different things. And Utah had a better run than us in that third.
You know, we talked in the pregame show about some possible trade subjects because the Jazz are not playing at the level that they would probably like to. They have a couple of guys that could really help some contending teams. One of those is Markkanen, who was last year's comeback player of the year. He was a first-time All-Star. Well, these numbers are all-star numbers. You can see why. He's 26 years of age, 33 points tonight. Great shooting percentages. He was dynamic from three-point. The rest of his team was not, but he certainly was on. Look at those. 1 assist, 13 rebounds, another double-double for him. If he's a guy that's going to be traded, he's certainly going to make a team very valuable with his services as we check out his night. Part of our Yingling Presents Lager Up. We could use a couple of Yinglings to kind of get through some of these, but these are good highlights from what he had on the shoot. The finisher with the double ends, because obviously he's from Finland, but this guy has a complete game. This is what he is. This is who he is. He's been in the league for a minute now. He's gotten better every single year.
He has. You want to see the upward trajectory be continuous, and he has done that. Similar to what Maxey had. Yeah. You know, he's been that guy. You know, when he's at Cleveland, they kind of exposed his ability to be more of a perimeter guy because you see his height, you don't assume he's a low. No, he's a perimeter guy. And his ability to shoot the ball and create off the dribble, he's just kind of first. You say, send him to Utah. This team is not really competing for championships, so he's more range to create. And they're learning just as much as other people learning how good he really is.
Yeah, I mean, he shot 63%. We showed you that he was over 50% from 3. He is such a dynamic player, and having no Joel Embiid, who obviously would have been able to slow him down, really helped. This is a guy that, you know, is going to draw big men away from the paint. He is a 7-footer. He does like to play there on the perimeter. How much difference would Joel Embiid make just in that particular aspect?
Joel would have commanded so much attention, Amy. Defensively, you know, Sexton was getting in the lane, Jordan Clarkson was getting in the lane, which opened up them three-point shooters, and also in transition. But when you got Joel Embiid, teams think twice about going into a lane. If you stay on that perimeter, it's hard for you to get them threes off. So that's where Joel Embiid had the defensive impact. And on the offensive end, they would have just been worn down because he would have commanded so much attention and dominated the game from all different levels that he would have commanded so much attention they would have fatigued, so they wouldn't have shot the ball like that late in the game.
Yeah, to your point, Utah, 92 points either in the paint or from the free throw line. 36 of their 46 field goals all happening in the paint. You know, we've showed you before when Joel Embiid is just there, people don't even think about going in there. They just pass the ball around and try to get the perimeter shot. So it would have been a difference maker. They're now 2-6 without Joel Embiid. We reported earlier today that he was questionable right before this game started. Woke up with some swelling in his left knee, which is the opposite leg where he had the ankle injury. That was his right ankle that caused him to miss 4 games. They did learn how to win a couple of games on that road trip when they didn't have him, but this is a game they were down 3 starters. Is it an outlier for you, or is there a little bit cause for concern?
Well, this game, I'm more forgiving than yesterday.
Okay.
I'm more forgiving for this game, having that many starters out, have a major impact. We fought, but Utah has played better than us. He shot better than us. So this is a game, I'm okay with that. I'm still not over last night's game and our performance as a whole. I think we got outmanned, we got outworked, and that bothers me more than tonight.
Back with our play of the game, brought to you by your Delaware Valley BMW Centers. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. We got Patrick Beverly, sweet dish. Over to KJ Martin. Pat Bev, pretty good first half. Unfortunately, they shut him down as well in the second half. So they were looking for extra efforts. We talked about Kelly Oubre, Pat Bev, trying to provide that spark. He had the 12 points in the first half, Mark. Not much doing after that, though.
Yeah, Utah made a good adjustment. They kind of took away Pat Bev's ability to score the ball, and we couldn't get much from him. But that's when other guys would step up, and unfortunately, they didn't.
No, they did not. Let's check in now with Nick Nurse after this one.
Complete understanding that you guys have been shorthanded the last 2 games. I guess what's been the biggest disappointment of the last 2 nights?
Just I think that I believe, like, even though you're missing whatever 5 guys, that those guys can collectively play together better than that, right? They can execute better. They can defend better than that. They can make those open shots. Like they can, what I'm saying, they were finding, there was plenty of shots to step into and make in that game. And just, all of our guys that are 0 for 5, 1 for 8, 1 for 6, 1 for 8, 2 for 21 from our best 3 shooters. You got to play better than that. When you're shorthanded, you got to play better than that. You got to shoot the ball better than that. You got to finish better than that.
Obviously, it's tough without Joel. This is an elite rim protector, but with the Jazz getting into the paint as much as they were and finishing at the basket, I guess as you move forward, how do you stop, contain that without Joel, points in the paint, things like that?
Yeah, well, we definitely, really good question, because we gave up a ton of layups and a ton of dunks, right? It's part of some of the stuff I've been talking about pregame. We're going to have to figure out some better schemes just initially at the point of attack. Right, with maybe it changes personnel wise on what we're doing out there, but we certainly gotta guard the ball better, guard the pick and roll better, challenge at the rim better. Even though you're undersized or you don't have great rim, whatever it is, right? You got to figure it out. Yep.
The points in the paint issue tonight was more about the matchup problems that the Jazz could pose on a given possession, or was it more miscommunication, schematic?
It was probably a little bit of both. I mean, listen, they do schematically make you, they stretch you with their size, right? Talked about that before the game a little bit. They're got a couple guys that can really stretch your bigs out, right? And gotta get back to them, or you got to rotate to them a little better. But again, it's probably a little bit of we didn't execute the schemes we were running well enough, or just like I said before, we gotta take a look at finding some other ones. Yeah.
The Jazz had 17 more turnovers than you guys, but fast break points were pretty even. Why do you think they were able to take advantage more transition opportunities?
Yeah. First of all, they got a whole bunch of I thought long leak out buckets after we missed a lot of long threes. Right, like there was just not a good enough job of us getting back after we're taking a 3 and it doesn't go in. And again, I thought we lived a little bit in that. I thought we didn't. Once your 3-ball misses start piling up, you can't let that take your energy getting back in transition. I thought we let that happen a few times. We shot, got 104 shots to their 80. We turned them over 23 times. We didn't get enough out of it, right? We got 1 point. We got 24 turnovers and 24 points. That number's got to be closer to double that. So we didn't do a good enough job of scoring in transition either.
To that point, though, like, do you feel like maybe the four shooting was maybe like the second half of back-to-back and just maybe legs tired or things like that in terms of the shots missed?
I don't know. Maybe, but I don't. Listen, they were on a back-to-back too. I know they didn't shoot it very well either. I don't think we had a lot of guys that didn't play a ton of minutes last night playing tonight,
Looking at a few days off now, a couple days off and a travel day, aside from obviously getting everybody healthy, what do you most hope to accomplish in the next couple days?
We're going to get in there, and it'll be a physical practice on Monday.
Ooh, physical practice on Monday. He did not like the way that they fought in this one, saying when you're shorthanded, you got to play better, you got to play harder. Mark, as a player,
I love it.
What do you think when your coach says there's going to be a physical practice coming up?
Listen, depends the kind of player you are. If you're a prima donna, used to things being handed to you, you don't like that. But me being the energizer bunny I am and the warrior I am, I will love every minute of it. We're going to practice. We're going to scrimmage, get up and down. We're going to get into it. Sign me up. I'm there for all that 2 times a day.
Practice.
Two times a day. Let's go.
We're talking about practice, and there's going to be a good one on Monday. It's interesting because Nick Nurse does practice more than coaches we've had
100%.
in the past. And the players have said they like it. I've heard Marcus Morris talk about it. They like that there's that consistency, and they get the work in.
Some players like it.
True.
Not referring to only Sixers players, I'm talking about in general. Some players, like, real quick, when I was in the NBA, when I was a rookie with Golden State Warriors, it was me, Gilbert Arenas, and they used to hate us in practice. They said, man, y'all got too much energy. Like, calm it down. Like, I'm not calming it down. You pick it up. Like, everybody's not built the same. Some people don't like just going to get shots and leave. Me, I'm a gymaholic. I'm always in the gym. So I love to be able to practice, like, a lot and really get after. I love to compete. I don't care what your status are, who you think you are. I'm going to punch you in the mouth. Basketball speaking.
Right.
That's
correct. Basketball.
Basketball.
Very important. We're talking about practice, Alan.
Don't at me. I'm talking
about
basketball.
practice.